Hello, I'm Jerford K. Horcrims. And these are all the same people who were here before. Now, it is incumbent upon me, you will note, revered Shadow Council, that I have the digital version of Alyssa's list brought up. It's on the screen, it's ready. It's the freshest, it's the richest version of the experience. And here it comes.
Did your grandkids set it up for you?
Shut your fucking mouth, Ryan.
They come in and set up your printer for you and get this screen set up?
I have laughed all week at your fax comment. Like, I have consistently enjoyed it day by day. Now, it is time, obviously. I mean, we all know this. I don't even know why I'm saying it, but it's Agarian's Day in Idle Champions. I mean, we all know it, right? Unlock Gym, Dark Magic, and Kate knows it the most. Unlock Gym, Dark Magic, and Omen during their event live now. This week, we're giving away the big Omen bundle, featuring an unlock for Omen drawn, 42 Omen gold chests, and an exclusive golden epic. Now, I had to look up in some ancient notes, but I am now prepared to deliver the text that I had prepared when I asked you who your top bits were in the channel, like literally from a year and a half ago. Are you ready?
Okay.
Still, how are things at the hut?
What's up, man? The hut for still? I don't even remember.
It was still the hut for some reason.
Still.
No, he eats there. Yeah.
I thought Still
spot.
had been made like a regional branch
Oh,
manager.
yeah, that's
like
right.
he ate there once and then they
Yeah.
put him in charge.
Well,
Still the hut. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, things are good. They're so good, in fact, that I got some help today
Really?
from a little unknown, little someone we haven't heard much from in the community, but I think they're really going places. Tyrannosaurus. Look at you.
What?
Really?
Boy, you get one of these, you've got
never
a collection coming. I guess you're going to start your own franchise at a certain point.
But we should just wait a couple weeks and send them all.
I know, really. I can mail these in bulk and it'll be a lot cheaper.
Now, Prism,
Yes.
have you been able to attract anything from your vision board?
Oh my god.
You manifesting?
I'm manifesting for my Prism interest. It's like Pinterest, but it's
Ooh,
only
good.
for Prism. Whatever.
Business
Um,
trust.
Yes. Okay. So this week, my biggest fan, you know them, you love them, but not as much as you love me or else, is S Ranker. Very much S Ranker. You will be gifted a token of my esteemed gratitude, the official, I was going to say like decoder ring, but it's a mood ring.
Yeah. Well, it does decode moods.
Yeah. So you can, be a little mood elf of your very own.
A mood elf in the home. Now, Yitzman, have you seen anybody pique your interest at the gym?
I hear story about up and comer at the hut. I think probably up and coming, nothing in the arms or legs. So imagine my surprise when I see none other than large Tyrannosaurus lifting with either book or a dinosaur arm. Hard to say what avatar it takes, but very strong. We'll be happy to send a wonderful present for you.
I love it. Now, Quiver, have there been any interesting targets this week?
Indeed. I have decided upon one. I tracked him expertly. I tracked them. And their name is S. Ranker. And for this individual, I will eat the eyes last. We'll save them. After the open coffin funeral, once all have paid their respects, I will then indulge. But not before. I thank you.
A treat for a good kitty.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, it obviously it should be established when I look in here into my DM screen, there are cauldron tippers, plural. There is a specific name associated with these tips. It is the Tyrant Hesaurus.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
I can't stress enough. It's different from the other ones.
He saw us. We better run.
In the pirate, he's towering. Now, so obviously, thank you so much for these mega tips. It has inspired me to get a detailed list of all of the special techniques, the ults as they were once called, and begin to issue those in future games that we record in the studio. Now, we have a poll result. The esteemed Shadow Council is telling us that they would like to know more about centaur culture, because it's not super established. We have, I mean, in terms of like full centaur culture that's like expressed in D&D live action games, I think we've probably embroidered it more than most. So in Yitzbin Attende's sort of clan is my impression, right? This sort of like traveling familial group, they prize strength, and so it's made Yitzbin Attende, whose skills and talents are sorcerous in nature. It has warped their sense of self.
Mage hand.
And it's exactly right. And it's manifested in this specific way. And then we also met another centaur whose sort of familial clan group had an inverse perspective where they prized sorceress, success, and strength was diminished in their context, right? Obviously, it's disgusting and revolting. But if we could, I think that we should go around the table and we can continue to embroider a little bit of centaur culture for the Shadow Council. Now, we can go in any order. We're going to offer a unique perspective, a unique cultural touchstone, a prized food, perhaps a novel raiment. And my thinking is that by the time we get all the way through this, we'll have enough for a supplement that we can kickstart. So
Perfect.
Absolutely. So who would like to contribute to this big book of centaurs?
May I go as Quiver?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, this is even better than I could have imagined.
In character, we got to do this.
You don't have to, but that's where it's coming from for me. It just felt right. I think I've seen this of the centaur. They, on occasion, they would wear essentially a large horse head, but the size of the torso, so that they may pretend to be a full horse. It is a huge head that covers the torso and the human head. And then they carry about the whinny, the sound, the horse, in the fields, and it is a moment of purity for them. This is what I believe.
That's amazing. But do you know what I heard? And look, you didn't hear this from me, but the centaurs have like a little secret about a certain delicacy that they would never admit to eating, but it's sort of a forbidden fruit for them.
Oh.
That's right. It's an apple. They say they don't like horse stuff, and yet why won't they ever eat them in public? I don't know. But all the groves, all the orchards around centaur villages, stripped bare. Who's doing
locusts.
This is true.
I think Quiver is willing to believe any story about a centaur. Yep, that feels correct to me.
That tracks.
Right, now still, we're looking for some centaur fiction.
I mean, I've only ever dealt with one centaur. It feels rude to generalize an entire group off of one interaction with one individual. Nice. To me, but what I know of this centaur must be true of all of them, and they just have so much love of avian creatures. No, that's too on the nose.
They can't get enough birds.
I like that the 2 on the nose is also
Yeah,
still.
it's like they. I spend a lot of time with this one near the back of her head. They're infested with ticks, and I don't think they know, which is great for me. I got to assume it's the same across the board.
So
I'm just
essentially,
snacking back there.
I was going to say the centaur is essentially a buffet
Yeah,
for a young owl.
it's great. It's why I spend most of the time up there.
I love it. Well, now, Yitzbin, is there anything that you would be willing to share?
First of all of these assumptions about centaurs, are they true? Yes. Second of all, I am seeing other rumors in chat. Things like a centaur lay eggs is true. That a centaur cannot do push-up, also true. I tend to sometimes exaggerate my physical prowess in this way. What's another thing about centaurs? That we bathe in only the finest sands, not enough water in desert. Never known the kiss of human. You wouldn't know it, but it's true. Well, there's just so much.
Yeah, there is.
Bless up to Kufuf.
There's a lot, absolutely, 100% for all. Now, it should be firmly established at this point that I have all of the names from the chat of the winners of all the cool stuff that we mentioned. So the Idle Champions code, we're talking about the big code that has all the omen shit and mega boxes, is Santus Lupinus and Saucefire, occasionally known as Saus,
Nice.
here in the channel. So obviously, 100% congratulations to you. The Elderwood Academy mini spellbook, AJ Scorp, put it with the others. Level Up Dice, hitting you with the blue Table Shaker 30mm percentile set, Cranston Snord, longtime ally of the channel. Now the Penny Arcade Shadow Council dice box going out to Bust Head. Yeah, so thank you so much. Obviously, thank you so much to our stalwart allies, and of course, thank you so much to the Shadow Council, for whom we work tirelessly to please. Now, you should also know that at this point in Alyssa's document, this is the standard game discussion and question answering portion. Now, does anybody have any notes or anything that they would like to dish up en route to the questions from the Shadow Council?
The MVP.
The mother.
Well, it needs to be in the schedule, and obviously,
Here, you know what? Here, let me drop it in right now.
please.
Edit it now.
I'm not a documancer, but like organization or whatever, just like put it in the schedule. I think that, I mean, we did talk a lot about the Dewey Decimal System at the beginning of this episode, but
I'm so glad you brought that
MVP.
back up.
Like
Yeah,
cross
right.
realm. Yeah.
What do we think? Any noms?
Oh,
Any
the
noms?
hammer. This incredible
hammer.
magic that has been derived in order to trick people into thinking others are dead.
Yeah, I have been like, that's the thing that I knew. Like, I've known that for a year. Like, so many of these things are just like things that I have thought about for a year. And
What a treat.
well, and
Like
the
the
scariest,
fruit, the lure.
the worst, scariest part of the story, I think, is that certainty's already in there, and that what that indicates is, to me, very scary. I feel like that would be unpleasant. But yes, so the hammer is there. The auger potentially could be MVP material.
I think that Chris said the hammer.
Oh, okay, understood. It's the hammer.
There's no
And not
It's the
discussion.
hammer.
and not this hammer, just hammers, because you
Just-
got to
Oh,
drive
yeah.
a nail. You got to get that in there. It's stability, buildings. Like you couldn't have society without it. Civilization,
Platonic hammer.
the perfect hammer
Exactly.
for
Well,
you.
Auger is good though.
I am inspired by the hammer. Now, MVP having been firmly established, is there any other notes, any other commentary, questions, concerns, or do we begin investigating the Shadow Council's queries in earnest?
I had some notes and I'm wondering if other people felt the same way. My first note on the top of this episode's notebook page was, I forgot this whole bitch's steez. Anyone else forget about their whole character?
No, it was okay. I was all right.
Which
I was in the
character was
weeds a
it?
little bit.
Which character did you forget? Who was this?
I mean, Prism, but I just mean like,
Oh,
we hadn't played them and we only
I
played
know,
the first
I
one
know.
at a time.
dude, my whole
Yeah.
personality is an accent. Like I can bring that back at any moment. It's so easy to do it.
I just hit the button.
Okay.
It's ready
I
to go.
s-
For someone who apparently forgot these stees, like you manifested
God.
the stees in a way
Seriously.
that I found very nourishing. So
Well,
Prism has never been more Prism than Prisms.
the
You know what I mean?
yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
All right. Right, guys? Right?
Anybody?
Let's say, okay. I also had just quickly, Jerry doesn't understand compasses, and it says, let's unpack that as a group. It's upsetting. It's upsetting, Jerry.
Is you've never seen a compass misbehave?
Are you spinning it? I don't know.
I mean, that's super
It's
fast. Is
getting
that
weird.
bad for compasses? I'm spinning around and then it's spinning around and now I'm dizzy. I can't look at it at all.
Yeah. Who's
Dude,
pointing
a
who at
compass-
that point, you know?
A compass
compasses the
misbehaving is
compass?
really like upsetting. I feel like there's a lot of adventure survival stories I read as a tween that involved having a compass. And thank God. But
Yeah.
if this thing can misbehave, what are we relying on it for?
It
Hey,
might-
you can say hatchet.
I'm talking about hatchet.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. It's sort of the trope of like the cell phone doesn't work in a scary movie. It's like the compass is not going to function for you. This thing is fucking, it's worthless. It's garbage.
You're not pure of heart. It's not.
Yeah.
They were the cell phones of the 1980s and before.
Exactly.
For
Something's
human
gotta go
history, it
wrong.
was compass till about
Oh my
1992.
And then it's basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pagers for like 3 years.
Yeah,
a little bit.
beepers, right? And then two-way pagers, and then obviously that's the full arc of human history.
Yeah.
Essentially. It got weird there near the end. I don't know if am I supposed to tell the compass where to go? Like I'm gonna look up compasses.
I don't
online.
know.
I don't know. And then really quickly, I also just had a note for Omen, I guess, and it said, I
Yeah.
bet Timora was a welcome sight, and then a
Oh,
little smarmy face next to that. And then
Oh.
also, apparently you also said service everything up to the spine, and I just wrote perverts.
Cool.
That's a good one.
Cool.
so you have pretty detailed notes actually. Whenever
I
you had a
do?
feeling of any kind, it sounds like it was cataloged on this document.
Oh yeah, and then I said I just wanted a coat. Jerry, give me the fucking fashion, and then I wrote you rube, 3 exclamation points.
I paid you too well. I gave you the DLC outfit
Wow.
end to
Oh.
end.
My notes are just facts about things that happened.
I know.
I
This
gotta
is what I
start writing
love.
down jokes in here.
This is what I love about your document. Like whenever I say something that I think, that I think is like worth writing down, you write it down.
Thanks, Jerry.
Like so, I mean, that book is like stuffed, right?
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
can
yeah.
actually go all the way back in that, like to the
Yeah.
earliest. Oh man,
Yeah.
we should do that for fun
I
next
thought
time.
about, like my first notebook is just an all rosy. I think it's like the whole first 2.5 years or
God,
whatever.
can you
Legit.
imagine?
So
An
it's so
actual
good.
notebook.
So good.
Oh, that is so cool. Hey, now questions from the council. Arc's Tangent, for those of us coming to this from a necessary VOD, is there any idea of how many more episodes we have to enjoy? I can readjust my life to catch these live if I need to. I can exclusively reveal.
Only to them.
To
Everyone
you
else
right
cover your
now.
ears.
Yeah, everybody
Cover
else,
your-
if you are, if you get
Well,
out.
listen.
They're in this arc leading on the way up to PAX Unplugged. There are 12 episodes, I am told.
Ooh.
I know. AJ Scorp, how weird, strange, enjoyable is it to be in the chat during the game itself? I think that we had some training for this during the AV Club. Right. So that was the first time that we'd ever actually were in the channel while we were watching while we were watching ourselves play. Right.
Who's we? Because we're not in
Yeah,
the AV
me now
club.
no do that. Yeah.
Not the AV Club. I'm sorry. Tales from the Loop.
That's from the
I think of
Oh.
Tales from the Loop, like I call the game Tales from the Loop AV Club, which is
Nice.
not correct, obviously.
Worst
but no.
show.
Yeah.
Where's Jeff?
Monster.
Take it.
Tales, the AV Club is a much better name for that
Yeah.
game, though. It makes
Yeah.
me Tales
There's
from the
Loop.
Loop. I always forget for a second.
It's a little weird. But no, I mean, that was the first time we ever had a chance to actually sort of be present while it was happening. And so it feels similar to that, except the energy level in the chat while the show is going is really cool. Like it's because we sort of do this, on our own, and we have big thoughts about the game and we have big feelings about the game, but it's easy to forget. Like, it's really important to us, but it's easy to forget, like, that people are sort of on that ride with us, unless you can see them actively, like, jumping in and, like, making their own jokes. Like, there's another show that involves this chat stream, like, consistently digesting all of the material that happens in the show. It's really cool, I think. Let's see. I can click on these. Tyrannosaurus.
Oh.
Hallowed be his name. How does it feel to be back at the table, flipping back and forth between characters? Did you make any special preparations adjusting to their different mannerisms, personalities, abilities, etc.?
No, I was just describing to everybody else about eating the eyes. It's like, it doesn't matter what character I am. I'm going to eat the eyes. I'm going to try and get a bite of them. So that's just how it works. And it's a mainstay. And I think it's good for me.
I definitely will only wear like my loud colored shirts for Prism because that just seems fun. So
You prepare the space.
yeah, I'm like, will I not wear this? No.
I think ricocheting between Yitzbin and Rosie is very fun because I know Rosie really, really well, and I don't know Yitzbin very well. Coming up with Centaur lore off the cuff is really hard for me.
Boy, it was mean. It was mean of me. I apologize.
But the thing about Yitzbin is that she's such a big, sexy oaf. And I just like, that was Dinar season 1. And I wanted to rip that primacy out of Ryan Hartman's sweaty little hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Yitzbin so much.
Yeah, being the big dumb brute's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to. There are times when I've wanted as still to say something as like jerky, and I'm like, oh no, you have to be the sweet boy. I specifically didn't want to just play another jerk.
Yeah,
but that's about it. They're both pretty naive. I'm actually finding more through lines than I thought between the characters when I first made them up.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're still sort of new to role-playing games in general. You're going to continue to feel this way.
Ryan has now played these games for 4 years at least, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true.
I played
think he's
one game
graduated.
for 4 years.
That's new. Now back to new again. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right, now, Yithian Historian says, do you think there's a difference between speaking in first person and third person for role playing? Which do you prefer? Yeah, some people take this very seriously.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, whatever fits the mood, whatever somebody before me did, I will personality mirror to them, no problem. And sometimes it's I know that I do this when it's a thing that I don't agree with. I'll be like, oh, Walnut or Prism does this bad thing that I would never associate with. But then when I'm like, oh no, this is fun, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm living out a fantasy, blah. And then later I'll be like, that was so transparent. You fucking.
I would be curious to go back from a armchair psychologist place and see when we varied between I and my character does whatever. Because I can see it being like, I do this when I see this and it's something I own, versus Cathris does this.
Yeah.
If it's something that they do that I'm not personally comfortable with, I don't know. Maybe. I have not given it that much thought. I do like the descriptive, like it makes it feel more like a cooperative story when it's third person.
Yeah. I feel like I default it depends on the scenario. Like if we're like in the midst of a thing and we're just bouncing character chat off each other, that's one thing. But like if we're describing something, I find I default to the third person because I'm like I would be writing it on a page. Like I just I prefer that more, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can describe the scene in third person. That it's kind of, I think, Tris, very similar to what you said. Like if my character is doing something, usually it's like when she's doing something that I could never do. It feels almost like, I don't know, pretty presumptuous to say that I did it when it's something that's like I could never do like a fucking spin kick and knock somebody on his ass. Like I can't do that. It seems silly to say it, but I wish that I could speak more in the first person. If I could choose one to do, I feel like operating in the first person would be the one that I would do more consistently.
Yeah, I don't have when I'm playing as Omen, I don't have a particular rule. It's just sort of whatever feels right. But I think that Tris is correct in that I'll usually just try to take the torch from whoever was doing it. I just want to try not to break the scene if I can. And if that means, doing one or the other mode, that's typically it. But let's see. Bryceling says, how poorly do you think the collections agency would fare in the test market?
Oh, they'd still be there. Not like the other team.
Yeah, that's the main distinction between the two teams, I think.
Yeah, that's how you find out which one you go to.
The retirement plane is the test market.
Yeah,
it's just a little extra time spent.
It's just to get into the retirement plane. It's a door in the very first room of the inn, and the very first episode. It's just one door we didn't open. Could have gone right in.
Sitting there.
Look at Jerry's face. Look at Jerry's face. Oh shit! Yeah. Look at Jerry's face.
Maybe. Could be. Dang.
No. Do not perceive.
I gotta cover it up. Ravenous. This question might have been from sort of more the midpoint of the episode, but it says, "Where's Brahma?" So there in this episode there were some hints about Brahma specifically, that, and it sort of goes into what the town of Sparata does, which is sort of the deleterious effects of that elder brain below it, sort of breaking people down. As soon as she got out of that place, you can't actually hold her anywhere. So
I did get a text from my mom as soon as the episode ended, and it said, why were you making that face when they mentioned a cartographer? And I said, I don't know, Brahma's a cartographer. And she goes, oh, cool. I didn't know she knew how to draw carts. And anyway, we're no longer speaking.
Yeah, that's her number. That she can draw carts. That's great.
Anyway, looking for a new family.
Hold on, didn't your mom say, get in the bedroll?
Oh
like a million years ago when she was watching the game?
Yeah, she's very.
She called it. She knew what was up.
No, she knew. She knew about
whole
spice.
Time.
The whole thing.
I'm
a ding dong.
Hey, I know we all agree that being in person is better than having to do the games via Zoom, but I will point out one fun little extra good part about when we have to communicate via Zoom is I was able just to Google right now what deleterious means. And that was great. Props to Jerry. That's a big word.
Hey, you can do that at the table too. You're allowed to.
Yeah, dude.
You have the
Yes, I could've done
iPad.
Phone.
Fuck
Yeah, you have the iPad. It's ready
It's
to go.
never been easier.
It's true.
It's
It's true.
never been easier. Now, Left. This is a great question, and we should definitely tie into this. Leftria, again, longtime ally of the channel. I'm a traditional artist. What's something from this session you'd like to see portrayed as an art?
Oh,
I mean, the DLC outfits I feel like could be
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
Quiver eating Evelyn's eyeballs, please.
It's the first thing that
Obviously.
comes to mind, of course.
Moldy fruit, Evelyn.
I feel like seeing Yitzbin tumble out of the hammer.
no,
would
at
be
the
an
party,
interesting-
just like seeing the group sort of extruded from
Yeah.
this small space, like that could
How do you
actually be a really
represent that?
cool
Decanted,
poster.
one might say.
Oh, so good. So yes, thank you very, very much. Next up is Splinter Smith. Can Kate please publish these notebooks?
Yeah, I mean, I just scan everything in, and we should all do this.
Yeah,
We just
I mean,
scan our notebooks and put them up on the Acq Inc site.
it would be such a neat way to travel through the archive with a little bit of this extra, especially like at the beginning when you don't know what's up. Like I bet there's some, I mean, at a certain point in this campaign, Malith was like a major enemy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's a long time ago, this like made up, dyad situation. Well, I mean, see, I don't mean made up. Okay, Tristan, listen. When I say made up, I don't mean that it's not real. I guess
Now, what? So like what? Like now Neopets
That's
aren't
what
real
made
either?
up
Like what?
mean,
now,
so-
hold on. You're saying now Digimon aren't real?
Club Penguin, you're telling me I
Don't
experienced
don't.
Club Penguin, okay?
You're saying when I go to the club and DJ Cadence is spinning a hot set on Club Penguin, you're saying it's not real. You're saying I'm not a member of the EPF. Sorry, I know some really deep cut Club Penguin references. Sorry. Anyway, it's the Club Penguin show. Obviously, it's our new sponsor. But it has come to this. It is time for me to thank our esteemed partners, Level Up Dice, Idle Champions, and Elderwood Academy. Thank you so much for helping us keep the show going. Revered Shadow Council, Mayor Labors, please you. We will see you next Wednesday. See ya.